Yeah. We encourage people to look at this film marshal. Yeah. Yeah. The big anyway, I'm coming been in Canberra this week because I wanted to support Australian ex-Army Major David McBride. His court case has been in the Supreme Court in Canberra, and David is the son of William McBride, who was a doctor who was also a whistleblower. He uncovered, along with a lady called Sparrow, a midwife. They both worked together at Crown Street Sydney Hospital, and they uncovered the thalidomide drug being used on women for morning sickness, which then resulted in a number of women miscarrying their babies, babies being stillborn, and also a lot of kids were born with deformities because of this drug. So, like his dad, David McBride is a really brave Australian man. And he uncovered the murder of 39 civilians by Australian military. And he couldn't abide that this happened. So he went to his superiors, the generals, and he was told they couldn't do anything, to be quiet. So he went to the police, and he was also told they couldn't help him. So in the end, after exhausting all his options, he went to the ABC, and they published the information relating to these criminal acts on innocent civilians who were murdered. And instead of the actual people who murdered those innocent civilians being held accountable, they've gone after the whistleblower. They've gone after David McBride. And I just wanted to quote something from the court case. The Commonwealth barrister Andrew Berger, KC, said, "It's a nuanced field. The very important relationship with Australia's foreign partners, the public interest in maintaining confidentiality outweighs the interest of open justice." So what they're saying there, and it's similar with the case with Julian Assange and our government not standing up for Julian, they're saying that their relationship with foreign nations and secrecy is more important than Australians like David McBride and Julian Assange. And to me, that is wrong. What the judge also said in the case was that David's allegiance and oath was made to the King of England, not to the Australian people. So the judge stated that David McBride should have followed orders, no matter what those orders were. And that made the Nuremberg trials come to mind, because in the Nuremberg trials it was said that the SS soldiers shouldn't have followed the orders they were given because they were committing criminal acts, and so that wasn't a defence for those SS soldiers. And yet the judge said in David's case that isn't a defence. You can't say that you did something in the public interest. You should have just followed orders. You should have shut up and said nothing. Now, I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that is just completely wrong. If the judge thinks that criminal acts should just be secret and not told about, we shouldn't speak about criminal acts, that to me is just, we've gone over the edge into fascism, if that's what we're to believe. And Julian Assange, he's been held in prison without being found guilty of any charge because he uncovered war crimes. So Julian Assange uncovered war crimes and corruption in governments and in corporations, and he's been held in jail because he uncovered those war crimes and embarrassed the powers that be. It seems that the government has all the power and all the rights, and we no longer have any rights, let alone power. So we can't pretend we're in a democracy. When your politicians say that this is a democracy, don't listen to them, because it's not.
To the 208th week of Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall gatherings. The corruption of democracy involves withholding important information against the public interest. Publishing information in the public interest is vital for overcoming the corruption of democracy. And it's the reason why Julian Assange is held in such high esteem by so many people throughout the world. We are all too familiar with arguments spoken by governments and corporate goons that publishing information about government wrongdoing is not in the public interest. Our governments and large corporations partner in promotion of disinformation, surveillance of everyone, online censorship, the introduction of digital IDs and central bank digital currencies, harmful medical mandates, violations of human rights, and the suppression of free speech and the free press. None of these is in the public interest. This week, the corruption of democracy was accelerated at the Supreme Court in Canberra as the trial of Afghan files whistleblower David McBride was set in motion. David was facing charges for disclosing information concerning murders carried out by the Australian Army in Afghanistan. After raising the murder of unarmed Afghans with his superiors and being ignored, the Australian Defence Force lawyer David McBride decided to leak the information to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation in the public interest. On Wednesday, the judge, Justice David Mossop, informed the court that he would instruct the jury that there is no aspect of duty that will allow David McBride to argue that he acted in the public interest. Today, we learned that David has now pled guilty, presumably because he realised the court would not accept the public interest defence. This absurd treatment of David McBride is political persecution and is not in the public interest. Suggesting that the public doesn't have a right to know about important information is a massive red flag for all of us. Overcoming the corruption of democracy must involve people coming together in the public interest. We need to unite for our right to know and communicate the truth. We all need to stand with heroes who bravely make truth known in the public interest. Thank you, David McBride, for your great courage. Thank you to all the whistleblowers who have disclosed the crimes governments attempt to cover up. Thank you, Julian Assange, for securely publishing information disclosed by whistleblowers. Political persecution has no place within a democracy. Political persecution is against the public interest. Whenever we see political persecution occurring, we need to realise that democracy is being corrupted. Political persecution is always against the public interest. We all need to stand in solidarity with the people who stand up for the public interest. Stand with David McBride. Stand with David McBride. Stand with David McBride. Free, free, Julian Assange. Free, free, Julian Assange. Free, free, Julian Assange. Thank you.
Got it. So forget about the tours.
The tech one?
People stop on me.
It was close to the 201.
Okay, thank you.
They should. 看你现在发现的是。
Yeah.
Yeah.